Economics, Standard 11, Unit 3, Production Analysis. Production is any activity diverted to the satisfaction of other people's wants through exchange, says J.R. Kicks. Production is any activity diverted to the satisfaction of other people's wants through exchange, says J.R. Kicks. Human activities can be broken down into two important components, namely production and consumption. Production is a process of using various material and immaterial inputs in order to make output for consumption. It refers to the creation of those goods and services which have exchange value. Production process creates economic well-being. Production process creates economic well-being. In economics, production refers to the creation or addition of value. Production refers to the creation or addition of value. Addition of value. It transforms, or it simply transforms the inputs into output. Transforms the inputs. Transforms the inputs into outputs. Into output. So production simply transforms the inputs into output. Production may be at various levels. The scale of production influences the cost of production. On a large scale, the average cost of production is low. So the entrepreneurs are interested in enlarging the scale of production of their commodities, expecting benefit. Profit. There is also the possibility of making their products available in the market at lower prices. So two things. One is profit. Another thing is that there is also the possibility of making their products available in the market at lower prices. Production is the result of cooperation of four factors of production, namely land, labor, capital, and organization. Factors means resources used in the process of production of goods, commodities. So there are four important factors of production. Factors of production. Four important factors of production, namely land, labor, capital, and organization. So land, labor, capital, and organization are the four important factors of production. Land. It refers to the natural resources such as soil and mineral deposits, seas, rivers, natural forests, fisheries, etc. Labor. It represents human resources. Land and labor together, these two factors are called as primary factors. These two factors are called as primary factors because, they are naturally given, and without them, no goods can be produced. So they are known as primary factors. Saving is production minus consumption. This saved amount is called as capital. So the saved amount is called as capital, which serves as investment in the production process. An organization is a special form of labor. The third and fourth, I mean capital and organizations, we call them as secondary factors of production. They are derived from the primary factors of production, and so they are also called derived factors of production. These four factors, I mean capital, organization, land and labor. So capital and organizations are called as secondary factors of production. Secondary factors of production. And these four important factors of production, namely land, labor, capital and organizations, are depend on each other and coordinate each other. Land is one of the important factors of production. In ordinary sense, I mean land means it refers to the soil or the surface of the earth or ground. But in economics, land means all gifts of nature owned and controlled by human beings which yield an income. All gifts of nature which are owned and controlled by human beings which yield an income. Land is the original source of all material wealth. Economic prosperity of a country depends on the richness of our natural resources. The quality and quantity of agricultural wealth, the quality and quantity of agricultural wealth are determined by the nature of soil, climate and rainfall. The agricultural products are the basis for trade and industry. Industries survive on the availability of coal mines or waterfall for electricity production. Hence, all aspects of economic life like agriculture, trade and industry are generally influenced by natural resources which are called as land in economics. So, all aspects of economic life like agriculture, trade and industry are generally influenced by natural resources which are called as land in economics. The important characteristics of land. Land is a primary factor of production. Land is a primary factor. It's a primary factor of production. Secondly, passive factor of production. Passive factor. So land is a primary factor of production and passive factor of production. Thirdly, it is the free gift of nature. Free gift of nature. Free gift of nature. So, minerals and the nature of the soil and all the natural resources are free gifts of nature. And fourthly, land has no cost of production. No cost of production. No cost of production. And fifthly, land is permanent. It is permanent. And sixth, immovable. It cannot be moved. Immovable. So land is permanent and immovable. Land is fixed in supply. Land is fixed in supply. Land is fixed in supply. I mean, it is inelastic in supply. Land is heterogeneous as it differs in fertility. So heterogeneous and it has alternative uses. Heterogeneous. heterogeneous and alternative uses. So fixed in supply, and the land is heterogeneous as it differs in fertility, and land has got alternative uses too. We can use it for agriculture and also factories, buildings, and so on. Land is subject to law of diminishing returns. Finally, land is subject to law of diminishing returns. So subject to law of diminishing returns. So there are 10 important characteristics of land. Land is a primary factor of production. Land is a passive factor of production. Land is a free gift of nature. Land has no cost of production. Land is fixed in supply. It is inelastic in supply. Land is permanent. Land is immovable. Land is heterogeneous as it differs in fertility. Land has alternative uses, and land is subject to law of diminishing returns. As a gift of nature, the initial supply price of land is zero. However, when used in production, it becomes scarce. Therefore, it fetches a price accordingly. We have learned the first important factor of production, land, and its characteristics today. Let us learn the characteristics of labor and capital in the next class. Thank you for listening.